free. I'm like, why would they be in this religious room, but they're supposed to be pushing this information about like exiting or you know uh identifying, being aware that we're in a simulation. Why would they be associated with religious content? So that's why I was in a state of shock, of just confused a little bit. And so I did say something in there, and one of the mods kind of got nasty with me. So I was like, well, I was gonna leave anyway. I just was shocked that one of my friends is in here, like, you know what I'm saying, praying and all of these things, but they is supposed to be aware that we live in a simulation, and the objective is to pretty much not reincarnate back. And I don't know if going to heaven leads to reincarnation, but maybe with the information that we talk about is the reason why that person may have went back to religion. I'm not sure. That I'm not sure of. But I do know that, when I was speaking with my partner, me and him was talking, and I was saying, like, how do you know where, have you even considered or thought about where your soul was gonna go? So, in that avatar, where is it gonna go?
Yeah. Can I ask you this? Like, because I noticed this a lot on TikTok, like how they be treating like dark skinned people badly. Do you think that's like an NPC thing? Like
That is a
where they're treating
program.
like dark skinned people bad and then light skinned people like
Yeah,
good?
racism is a program. That's division, right?
Okay.
It's a program. Like, for me,
Okay.
I used to say that it was kind of like a spell. Infinite, you remember I used to say that it was like a spell. And the reason why I say that is because if you watch
Yeah.
that movie Masters, and Masters, it talks about how this witch is hunting only certain group of people that come to this campus. But as you watch the movie, you realize that it's not anything to do with a spirit. It has everything to do with racism. And so after watching that movie, I realized, I said, it is a spell placed on the mind of the person who is being racist and on the person who is experiencing the racism. It's a spell being done. And I realized that. So it's definitely programming. There is, it's all about you know, if I can get this person to mistreat this person that they don't even know for whatever reason, that's going to get them, the person, to experience trauma, and then the person who's doing it, they might not be able to reach a certain level of awareness due to that poor behavior.
Yeah, because I always thought like my mom is a dark skinned woman, and I always thought that she was beautiful. And when they came out with like movies and stuff like that to like degrade like dark skinned people and stuff,
Well, they got movies that
that's
degrade
not
light skinned
real.
people too. They got movies that degrade Caucasian people, Asian people.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is the issue with brown skinned people, is that
yeah.
we are too wrapped up on thinking that we are the only ones experiencing this abuse and trauma in this simulation, and we are
And it's
not.
all race.
What's up, Keither?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Greetings, welcome
Hey,
to the panel.
I was gonna say I peeped what y'all was talking about, and one thing I do is like studying magic and all that shit. And one thing I learned, and cause I studied with angel magic, the Shem Mefresh,
Yes.
and I learned that magic literally targets certain parts of your brain. Like with an angel magic, it targets the parts of the brain where it's about like justice, honor, guilt, things like that. Like so I know for the most part when it comes to like I'm not sure about the whole like demon thing because I don't use that stuff, but at the same time I know that shit is targeting literal parts of the brain. So with that, if you can figure out what magic is targeting someone and what if it's like a certain kind of magic you can figure out what parts of the brain it's targeting, then through the body you can create like a diet or something like that specifically targeting that shit where it can fight that off.
Okay. Yeah, see that, and that's why I had to kind of do my own thing on my platform here because, like, the former crew that I was with, their motto was "You don't need anything," and the exit was all that one needed. But the more I had did these lives 7 months in, people are experiencing actual attacks in a sense where they're mental or emotionally or even physically in some way. And so that's why I realized that I had to step away so that I can be able to provide that information out here to those who are experiencing these type of attacks and things like that. Because if one is not willing to separate from the avatar right then and there, then one must be willing to at least protect the soul in that avatar. So that's why I stepped away and I do the lives the way that I do them now. I know it's kind of difficult for some who are still used to the old flow and still going over there with them. But I have a different personality. I'm not like them. I'm different, and that's why I do things differently. Period. Like,
It's not different. It's just how you do things. It's not even about different or sameness or anything, honestly. And that's
yeah,
kind of a mindset people need to drop. They be trying to compare or differentiate too damn much.
yes, I
Like,
agree.
stay in your lane really mean like stay in your lane. Like, don't even worry about who you compare to or how you're different from another motherfucker. Just go about your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, exactly. I agree with you. Absolutely.
Mark Tacpans, what are you showing us?
It's just something I was doing. Just watch. Wait until the video starts over again. Watch this. Not this. Hold on a second. Okay, here it comes. Check what happens to the water. The water when you're filtering, right? When you're filtering, the water goes right through the strainer onto the other side. What's happening with that? The elements is they can be all electrical. So I don't know if they're distorting the direct connection of the spirit within us, in which bringing us the false spirit.
You see,
Oh, like,
Wow.
one thing I'll say is this: we gotta realize, like, what is it that we're imbibing that actually contains information? And the one thing I'll say, like, with brain targeting thing, like with music that you listen to literally targets your memories. But the thing
Exactly.
is, the type of music that you're listening to can target memories like of violence. So you might not even think about it. It could be times you're going around and say through astrological influences, now you're a little more violent than normal, not even because you had like a sleeper program essentially targeting in your brain. So when
Yeah.
more extreme natures came about, it triggered, and through music that you're listening to every day, now you're being a little more violent and shit like that. Or you could be a little more sad because of R&B, you listening to your lost girlfriend and all that other shit with Venus and retrograde over some dumbass shit like that. Now
yeah.
you're now the music that you listening to, now you a little more sadder than normal, or you thinking about talking to somebody again and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that music is definitely a big programmer. They showed you that in they Clone Tower how
Yeah,
music can like not even just I ain't gonna even use the word program at this point. I'm gonna just say control you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm thinking at this point.
Is it
it's
G?
not so much as control, it is like hijacking because everything is
And
part of
that's
the
why I
grand
said
order. So
that's
it's
why I
like
say control
it's
because if you think about it, like if you listening to a sad song and that sad song is about feeling sad and crying and that's what you end up doing, you basically giving up your will. It has control over you. You're doing what what that song is basically intended to do as far as like creating sadness or whatever. Free, did you miss the rapture? I think we all missed the rapture.
no, the rapture was never. The rapture is this for revelations and all that shit. It was always just about people coming hip to what the hell is going on. It's gonna get more and more prevalent over time because paying attention to things. More and
Yeah.
more people are getting into astrology, numerology. Young boys talking about angel numbers, things like that. Like this is getting more around as time go on. it's gonna get to a point for real. I'm worried about where there may be an actual witch hunt behind this information when it's like in my lifetime.
Hey, D, you know what music, the word music is, right?
Music.
Tell us.
Music, music, making you sick.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh no. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's like you're kind of right, but you reaching with the like how you describe it. Like that's not like reaching.
So this
like,
is so.
It ain't reaching. It ain't reaching. Like you gotta like think about it, right?
You gotta understand the etymology of words. Moo in itself is a word, so you can't really say that. Like moo means nothing.
We do. Keither, we do etymology in here, okay? We understand that. However, it could actually make one sick though, right? Like I mean, yeah, like that's actually true. I know this for a fact because my Rian, when she was 2 and 3 years old, she was crying when I was playing rap music in a car. I had to stop playing it because I didn't want her to be crying like she was. Like, I mean, she was holding her ears. It was hurting her in a sense. I couldn't understand it. I've never seen nothing like it. But I had to stop playing rap music around her.
You know, one thing I've realized from the study, from, you know, the framework of the simulation is structured with the use of words, right? So, and one thing that I've learned is that, you know, a lot of people are now waking up to etymology and phonetics, right? And learning how to decode words through etymology and phonetics, which is a wonderful thing. But there's a traditional aspect of that, and then there's the non-traditional aspect of it. The traditional, I get what you're saying, what you just said about that, but that's the more if you stick to the linear traditional aspect of it, then you won't see these things. But you gotta always be willing. You gotta be able to step outside the boundaries of everything all the time. So what I've learned from, and I'm like a word connoisseur, like, yes. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to these words, you know, that you like, my eyes are wide open. So they're, you know, like you said, the word, when my breakdown of music was kind of reaching, I could see how you might say that based on the traditional point of view, but you got to step outside those boundaries to see what they wouldn't expect you to see.
Bro, I studied numerologies in my share and all that. I could break down a word 1,000 ways to one. Like,
and that's
I know what you mean. I just meant good. As far as your breakdown, like M and U, like so, making you.
Can I?
Like,
so in here, we don't cap ourselves, right? So if you know what he meant, that's what he meant. That's what we say. We don't be like, for anybody, the lower mans who might not get it. We don't focus on that. We don't even care. We just, what his message was, and that's what it was. Like, so when you respond to what you reaching, now you taking away from that message. And that's why I responded the way that I did.
No, I ain't take away from it. I agree with it. I just explained it differently for better understanding for people.
Yeah.
I just made it reaching because, like, abbreviating the letters kind of takes away from what the letters actually mean and shit.
This is why we listen to different music with different frequencies.
And when you I'm sure y'all are aware, but you know, when you start studying the science of sound and frequencies and how they interact with the human biomagnetic field, I mean, that's a deep science in itself. That's a rabbit hole in itself, and you see how it you know, to the average person, you know, they would say, you know, well, that's kind of crazy. What do you mean? How, you know, people still question the notion that music can possess people, but I mean, when you comprehend the science of it, absolutely it can. It ain't conspiracy, it's fact. It's a science. You know what I'm saying? Because you can implant things into these vibrations. You know what I'm saying? And we are, you know, we have each of us has a biomagnetic field, you know, that's constantly being interacted with. You know, so you know, and that's why, like, a really good music producer is really like a wizard in themselves. They're like a warlock, to be honest with you, because when you have that knowledge, you know, people like the Kanye West and what's the dude, Timberland you know, these dudes are Dr. Dre. These dudes are like master producers, but you know, they really have mastered sound. And when you get to that level with the science of sound, you can do some damage. You know what I'm saying? If you're, you know, if that is your thing, but you can do some amazing things. You can heal people. You can hurt people. You can do a whole lot of things.
Can I say something? Can I say something? Okay, because you said like 5 things and I didn't get to answer the first one. The word music also, there are 3 things about it in base evaluation to where anybody can do what I say right now. The letter M is a Roman numeral. Roman numeral 1000. It is the only one of its kind. Okay? The distance to the other side of what M is what is 1, which is a representation of I. So you have M and I, 13 and 9, 22. 1/4 of the constellations. Number 2, it is the 7th, okay? It is the 7th part of the Fibonacci, okay? 13th letter, 7th part of the Fibonacci, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. The U happens to be the 21st part of the Fibonacci. Putting them together equals the 34. It's the same corridor. 3 and 4 is the corridor between blue and red, hot and cold, creating the power, the energy amongst the two. The 7 and 8 is also noted to be what is the passageway between the constellations before reaching the 6th house. 2 times 4, 2 plus 4 is 6 and 8. The 7 is found associated with Venus. It can be found right over here, 7 and 2. The 8 is the association of Mercury. Why do I say this? Because I've been indoctrinated to know the system of 9. 1 between 8 equals to 8 and 1, or the 18th letter R, noted to be Resh, or what is 2 areas and 7 in between, or 2 areas and 7 in between. Which way are you going? Should we be connecting the zodiac to this? 1, 4, 7, 10, all of them are the cardinal signs, or 2, 5, and 8, 11, all of them of the fixed signs. And nothing is created until we intertwine the two to create what is all your mutable signs. Only through the 7th gate that you become what is 3, 6, and 9.
Okay.
And that's not a guess. That's an exact calculation right into the Mayan, Hab, and Soltic calendar, to the 52-year cycle when they come together. The reason for the 13 cards up to the king, okay, 52 cards in the deck. When you're birthed, only 3 sets are needed. The connection between the spirit, the soul, the mathematics, the numbers. That's the story the numbers say. This is game science. This is what the numbers say. And are these cubes truthful? Are they truthful? Can they do a magic trick? How about a little magic from the cubes? Would you like to see magic in front of your eyes? Does everybody have a pen? We have 24 people here.
I wanted to say this too. I wanted to say musician, and then what is it? Musician, and then magician.
Musical magician.
So when you're playing your...
say those 2 words separately, I get tongue-tied. Oh, goodness.
So, because it's very interesting when you said music, and before I was speaking about the separation between either the lower or the upper, or the left or the right. Either you fill it with water and you bang on the floor, so that the bottom house, which is not the same size as the upper house, when the vibration comes in, it gets reduced so we can receive. And this would be the difference of our metric system. You know, we have the 100% of time is 60 seconds. Why is it not 100 seconds? Why? Why isn't it 120? Why is it not 120? Why? Someone tell me why. Why is it 60? Why is it not 90? Someone tell me why.
I have another question. I got another question regarding time. You know, why does time begin with seconds and not first?
Because it's on 2 sides of what the clock of what is first divides the house.
One thing I could say about time for how we use it today, there's the thing with longitude and latitude, and for prime meridians, I think it was in in 1885 or 1886, England, because they had the most powerful navy and everything like that, for like a world conference, they made themselves the prime meridian of the world through Greenwich, England, for the world's timekeeping and navigation. And not only that, at the zenith of the prime meridian, since it's along a ley line as well, in space, you got the Gamma star, in the Draconis constellation, the star Gamma Draco, which is the brightest star in that constellation, is like crosses with the zenith of the prime meridian in Greenwich, England, for our timekeeping and things. So essentially, England took control of the world's time and navigation in like 1885 or some shit, and it's kind of powered by that Draco star.
Interesting.
Free. What was the first question, Free? You know,
Well,
I ain't been right since I had took that phone call.
That's okay. How about this? With Mr. Tacpans on here, is there any way to validate the exit that we constantly share that has been the whole point of the lives for, what do you mean, 9 months? So with the 9 months, I haven't been on for 9 months. I started in January till now. So looking at the exit with everything that we know, does it correlate to what Mr. Tacpans has as far as validating that information?
Okay.
So first, I also want to say that I think it was the gentleman in the corner there. He said something that was very right, that the reason we're seeing the repeating channels, that they're popping up all the time, is because it's our algorithm. So I try to, sometimes I'll pick some period of time where I'll flick through everything. I don't want to see anything in my algorithm. I'll just run through everything, jumping into another timeline, because I just need my head to see something different than the same thing over again. I did.
Give me 1 second, real quick. So Dion, after the live I had with Disobey the other day, the day before yesterday, and the 7 months of having these lives and speaking with different peep souls, people, spirits, whatever. Okay, what I've learned is that until we are able to clarify if the process for unaliving is the same for a soul and a spirit and a clone, I think that the exit may possibly be different and it's not the same for everyone. Do I think it's the same for every soul? I don't know. Do I think the stars is the exit for me? Yes. Y'all heard that loud shit going by while I'm trying to speak some real shit? Disrespectful.
Yeah.
But I do think the stars is the exit for me, because I went down the rabbit hole, the information, and gathered it all for myself. And then my mother, she told me, I don't know if she told me, if she was hijacked to tell me in a misleading way, but she told me, and it was in a word, like my, the bloodline that this avatar is connected to, they do a lot of verbal telling of things. And so she told me this verbally, so I accepted it for my truth, but I don't want to say that that is accurate for everybody, because in 7 months I've learned that there are different avatars. Even though they all look human, there are different avatars and different animators in these avatars. So I realized that one may not be all taking the same exit. If it resonates with you, then it resonates with you. But I realized that who am I to tell one that they exit of what they think it is for them is not for them. That's where I'm at.
I can agree with that, because I've been studying the stars and everything. I've been coming up with and pointing out to like with Mercury, dragons, and fucking was it the star Regulus? Like when people with Mercury, right? We see like a half symbol. Mercury really is a combination of like all the planets energy wise. It's an electromagnetic planet. It pushes and pulls.
Okay.
And then not only that, it's the first planet that's closest to the sun. When you look at old alchemical symbols for Mercury, they got a dragon in the picture with it.
Yes. Okay. So I don't think that constellations are the star portals. I think the constellations are a part of the dome, the firmament.
No, they're signs of star portals and shit like that. They're not the actual things. Signs of what they exactly are said. Signs.
Right, correct. It's all words. Listen to the words. They're your
I
exits.
think they are just stationary, like stationary stars that the constant. So for a star portal, for a soul to come through a star portal, I don't think that it's going to be a part of any type of constellation, because that is part of the simulation.
What I'm saying is it's a sign. It's not about it being a part of that thing. Like, it's not a part of anything. It's a sign of something. It's a symbol.
Yes, it's just.
Wait a minute, hold on. What are you saying?
The symbol isn't the meaning itself. What I'm saying is the constellations and a lot of things aren't star portals and all that stuff. They're signs of these things. They're signs.
Yes, Mercury's not Mercury. It's a word.
Okay, listen. I don't know. I'm not trying to tell me how to think, okay?
I'm not telling you how to think. This is what it actually is. It's a sign. A stop sign is like...
And then you're saying, well, no, it is this. It is a sign, and it's not that. I just said that I think.
All right, I guess you just didn't understand it. No mind.
And I want to apologize.
I guess I don't understand you. No, I don't stand under you right now.
I want to apologize and say something.
You're doing too much with words.
That's fine. That's what I do.
I guess you're not perspicacious for this. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Listen, you can leave, sir. You know what I'm saying? Have a great day. Like, this is not even that hard.
Yeah, the dark light.
Yeah, I don't want to battle when we having discussions and stuff like that. I said what I shared, like, you know what I'm saying? Not to, you know what I'm saying, for him to respond within a correction of it.
Yeah, there's a way to communicate some of this stuff. I still feel like we're trying to go back and have a deeper understanding of certain things to have it articulated in a way where we can have some acknowledgement of what we're saying. Mr. Tacpans is able to do that with numbers, but I don't know if he's able to validate certain things that we speak in English.
Is it in English? No, yeah, he says it in coding, and then we like kind of gotta put our minds together and figure it out, you know.
He's helping us speak in code, but I can't. I at one point with the gematria, I was there. This has gone to like an advanced level, and so as far as the so-called future is concerned, I'm just trying to see with everything that he shares, how does it align with the timeline of different things that we have coming up?
Yes. So free. Now I will say, like, even like what is it, Mother 3? She says that the stars are a trick and they are to trap you. That's what she says. So that's why I said that the constellation, the stars that are doing the constellations, the signs, making the symbols, the maps, whatever. Like, my point went completely out was like he tried to throw my point completely out the window. The point I'm making is that if the stars is a part of Aries, it's a part of even Mercury, whatever, then I don't think that those are the portals that are bringing souls in here or out of here. I think those are there to do the coding of this simulation, of this matrix, because you use astrology and you can use those mapping of these stars to even predict the future and amongst many other things here in this simulation. So that's why I don't think that they are there for transporting souls in and out of here. And that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If that's how you can, when you cross over, I have not ever met anyone with an NDE that was able, again, if you are able to do this, no soul comes back and says anything that we're sharing here. They all have very similar NDE experiences.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
can I
Go
say
ahead.
something? Yeah, when the gentleman, or whatever you want to call the person that was here before, when he was talking about, when he was expressing to you something, what I understood in between what he was saying, I saw it differently. And I also said something which was wrong because I also saw something. And Mercury, I mean, I just want to jump onto the word Mercury. Forget it. Just its position and everything, its coordinates, is telling us a story where we should be and where we shouldn't be.
Okay.
The letters M and E, the 13th letter and the 5th letter, in this place we're in the H8, 4 times 2. This house has 4 areas. We live in 3 areas at a time.
Okay.
When you have 4 areas, you only have 1 dimension. When you break it up into 3 connections of the 4, you will create 4 dimensions from it. You have 1, yeah, you will create 4 dimensions. Within these dimensions, all the dimensions will be Trinity. Every time you join it, every single one will be broken up by 2. It's like when you look at a 4 over a 3 and you turn it. Now, instead of seeing anything connected, it could be a gear, but guess what? It can also be music. And in between the 2 sides, okay, it's just the water. And the minute you play the music on one side, it hits that water, goes onto the other side. But what gets transmitted on one side gets received in another dynamic on the other side.
So, Mr. Tacpans, you've been on several times, and have you taken a look at the exit of what we have?
I keep asking myself about that question. I keep seeing, unless you are an association, right, of a certain number of people, if you want to leave, for me, there's only one way out, and it's just to like, don't do anything for yourself anymore and give up. You know, I don't believe that, because we're the students, right, and because we're this awake, we know we're not here.
Can I just do a quick interruption? So what I'm hearing you say, and correct me, with what you're saying, this goes back to the archons and declining any offer. Go back to nothing.
If I have a gift to share, I'm not leaving until my gift is shared. This is why I came back. I have to share my gift for my escape.
And okay, so you're sharing your gift from your escape. And so what I'm trying to do is decipher what you're sharing with the language that we know that has kind of been, you know, repeated over and over and over again, and to see if that aligns with what you're sharing just in a different way.
Oh, when you got to the numbers, I'm repeating the numbers over again, right?
Right.
Okay, so the basis of this for myself, remember, I'm trying to learn myself. I didn't know any of this 20 years ago. So
for he would have to work on what we talking about. He, just like how we working on it, he got to work on it too.
Perfect.
It's a work in progress. Yes, it's cause like so like with Polaris, I have some stuff on Polaris. I have been using the AI to ask certain questions, not everything that I wonder. I also have Yandex, and then I have Swiss Cow as well that I use to just type in other things off of Google, because sometimes Google is not the best to search certain things. And so I have gotten, like with Polaris, so far what I'm gotten from Polaris, and I didn't even use ChatGPT for this. I use my star maps because, you know, if you check your phone, you have a star map on there. I don't know if it's for Androids, but I know on Apple you should have a star map, or you can get a star map. And I looked up in Polaris. There's 3 Polarises. There's 3 of them, and they're all attached to a constellation, I believe so. But there's one that is Polaris is in the is in the same sky as the Aurora Borealis, but it says they are not the same. And so, I really don't know about Polaris. You know what I'm saying? And then it is technically it's a known star. I don't think a known star would be a portal to getting in and out of this mud. Just me personally, I don't think.
Remember, in this game, if you want to go out, you have to be a professional. Mm-hmm. Your professional thinking, your professional communication, leave nothing out.
Yeah, you can't do it in a vulnerable state. That's why having you here doing some of this,
So I'm just thinking, I'm just trying to put together what I just I just built these cuckoo little things here, right? So this is showing my right and my left angle, and the letter A joins the 2 sides. You see, the letter A is what joins this one over here to that one over there.
Yeah.
So this is an angle piece. So I'm just trying to measure something to understand the 3 walls and the 1 platform right now, which made me design this pyramid over here.
Okay.
Which is actually what this is, because this and this fit together. Mm. So it's just what is it? It's I can't see it this way, so it's the other side. It's this side and this side, but it becomes 3-sided, and 3-sided creates 4. So this is what I understand. If we're blocked in by an ice wall, how do you make the ice wall melt? You make it work harder. If everything has to do with the way we think, we have to think differently. How should we be thinking? We have to collapse it. Either they'll throw us out, right, and we'll dislodge from the system, right? Or they'll change their complete algorithm, and that's going to cost. And if they speed up the cost right now onto too many people, there's going to be too many angry people against the same source, weakening the source itself. There's a basic way to do it. I mean, just generally, and you know what that is? We stay off of this site for 38 hours.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, get off of TikTok.
We have 30, and the reason for this, you have to know why.
Oh shit! Look, I said that 30 people, 2 people that left. Dang, they weren't ready to get off TikTok. That's messed up.
No, why? I'm going to tell you why. 37 is the realignment. Okay, actually, it's supposed to be 40, but 37 is when you begin with 3, right? So there's 37 left with 40. When you begin with 2 dice, it's 1 and 1. That doesn't get you into the game. 1 and 2, that doesn't get you into the game. 1 and 3 gets you into the game. In the game of craps, when you play the game of the dice, Saturn square, Monopoly, associating the 2, tell me that between the 2, the only time I get into the game is the 4th one. Now I'd have to look at the Monopoly board and see if that's possible.
You get that this is, with what you're sharing, you're using the word game when it's hard for me to grasp that this is a game when we don't have the instructions, our mind is erased. You got to keep coming back, and then we get code, like helpful tips and hints from you. But it's hard to imagine anything like this being a game other than a simulation.
It's okay. My understanding for myself.
Yeah, I know.
By using these games, it's my memory. I don't have to write it down. I just know to go to all the games to see what is my next move. So right now I have to weaken the system.
Oh, he's using a game though. That's why he's saying game, because he's actually using it. So I mean,
Yes.
I need in this game from Go. right? From go. You see this one over here? This is where the Middle East is right here, this one here. Do you know you can't get there until you go around the board?
Yes.
This is the last one you can get. This is the second one, number 2, value number 2. This is the first, this is the second. This is your first roll, right? 1 and 1 brings you here. 1 and 2 brings you here. So that's your base creation. You would end up where? You would end up in the Baltic for your alpha beta creation.
Yes.
Your 1 and 1 got you nowhere, and you can't get 1 because you got 2 dice. So now your next roll, right? You can't get the train track. You don't want to get that, right? You can get that. So this is the 7th area space. It's 6 on the dice, the 7th area space. This board tells you that when you begin, whatever you roll to begin with, whatever you roll, it doesn't matter what you roll. The area space that you stand on is one area space occupied. So when we're leaving this game, we have to understand our differences of this. Where am I from the corners and the trains? And this is more mentally. This is more about your vibration. This is more about your belief. Because the more you're going to believe, the more I believe you're going to see it the same way that one side of the panel sees it, not the other. One side of the panel says, I'm doing it all for myself. The other side of the panel, I'm not leaving home without you. Leave no one behind.
Oh, that's the division of the groups, Free.
Yes.
I gotta go back solo, or they're trying to take the groups with them.
Yeah, well, we melt the ice wall.
Yeah.
You know what? In regards to this, in regards to this being a game, you know, I get everybody's different perspectives on that, right? But like my personal perspective is I always have, and I still do look at this as a game. I know it's a dark game or simulation, but I still perceive it as a game. And I was thinking about something recently, right? In regards to that, is that Dolores Cannon, right? When I used to listen to her years ago, there was 2 things that she used to always say that stood out to me. Number one was she used to always say that those of us who chose to come here, we came here to master energy, you know. And then she used to say that all the time. And then another thing she used to always say was that she used to always mention that she used to say that Earth is one of the most challenging, and I've heard other people say the same thing, that Earth is one of the most challenging simulations that you can upload yourself into.
She didn't call it a simulation. She called it a planet.
Right. Well, yeah, those were her words. I'm using the word simulation, but
she believed in planets.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm piercing through to the message.
You still take what you want from somebody, even though whatever they like. If they could believe, like she could believe in fucking donkey ass, but if she spoke something that I know to be factual, I'm gonna take that. I know it's factual. You know what I mean?
know. You're right.
Right. So she used to always say that, right? It's one of the most challenging ones that you can enter into. But this is the kicker. She used to always say that there's a waiting list to get here. And I always found that interesting, and it really broadened my perspective years ago hearing her say that there's despite how challenging it is here, there's a waiting list, there's a long waiting list to get here. And it made me think, I was just like, I thought about in terms of as above, so below. I started looking at what goes on in this world, in this simulation. Well, we have are you familiar with the E3, the gaming convention every June?
Say that again.
Are you familiar with E3, the big the yearly gaming convention?
Is that in Vegas?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it might. Yeah, I think it might be. But it's like basically it's like the annual gaming convention where there's others too, but it's the main one where all the new video games and stuff are are released, or they're announced, right, for release, right? So when you look at that, and it always, of course, generates a lot of buzz. And when you look at that for what it is, it's a convention where all of the newest simulations are being announced for release, right? So you have this big event that people look forward to every year, where game designers, they announce their stuff that's upcoming for release for the public, right? So, and there's a lot of hype and anticipation for it, and then then they have all the pre-release incentives, and if you reserve the game now, you get different access to this and that, and this, and certain content you get access to if you put it on pre-order. But the point I'm making is that we're in a simulation where we have human beings that are in high anticipation, right, for the release of a simulation that they can upload themselves into to experience.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing from an as above, so below point of view. It's the same thing as what she said. There's a long waiting list to get into this simulation that we call Earth, right? Just like you have people in the simulation that can't wait to upload themselves into somebody else's creation in the form of a video game.
And Souls, they did show a line of like souls, but like what I will say that they was also showing was that they were not just waiting to come, but they were reincarnating back. So they were waiting to come back.
Can I say something to Infinity? Can I say something?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm always going to lift my hand. I'm always going to lift my hand. I just can't believe you said that, because I'm still trying to figure out that my nephew, who never left his bedroom, who's now 24 years old, okay, who never left his bedroom, drew up one of the top anime games for the year, I think 2021, 2022, 2023, and he's coming out with a game next month. He's coming out from Japan, right? Yeah. This guy creates games, and I'm trying to talk to him, but you can't, because he's always in another planet when you talk to him. He's in this place.
I'd love to be in that room watching you guys talk.
Oh no, he is completely different from me. It's all in the head. He doesn't really share anything. He doesn't get involved. It vibrates within him. He doesn't talk. He just doesn't do that.
I guess that's only if I had more time here, but anyway, Uno.
Yeah, so
that's gonna be our new safe word.
Oh, Rogue. Yeah, I like Uno. Okay, I can do that. Rogue, greeting.
Real quick. You were talking about it, but I cut you out, and you were saying like, "Hey, I think that the stars are kind of like a trick." Like you were saying that different avatars might have different portals out. Like a star might not be like in the have the exit plan, how they say connect to your star. That to me is like the most interesting part. And I'm like, you were saying that maybe it might not be a star for everyone. You were describing like why, but it like cut you out while I was at work. It's at bad service.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I was trying to hear what you said. You said like.
Oh,
like
okay.
I was trying to hear what you said. You said like you like looked at things differently, and that certain.
Okay, where's my phone? So if we don't connect, because it's 10 to 1 already, so if we don't connect, I don't really want to interrupt you during the show, but if something happens, we don't connect. So my thing is, if there's cash, you move it all directly into your account. We'll discuss it. But learning from him is fun. I don't know everything, you know that. I just know what I see in the future. And like I said, the one piece of it I think has to remain till till you're 55. And if you want to use that money to build up your shelves or whatever, okay. What's up?
Yeah, thanks for the